Hi everyone, I'm Chrys, author of Write with Faye, 10 Sparks to Guide You from Idea to Publication, and Keep Writing with Faye, Sparks to Defeat Writer's Block, Depression, and Burnout. This PowerPoint presentation is all about how to produce horror. Now, this isn't about writing a horror story, but rather using horror as an element in any type of story, regardless of genre, even if it's just for a single scene. Horror is a great element. It reveals things about ourselves that we would never know if not faced with a frightening, dark situation. It invigorates and excites. If it wasn't pleasurable in some way, horror movies and books would not be successful. But there's something about getting scared that people like. So why not take advantage of that need? Bring your nightmares to life on the page. If it scares you awake with a pounding heart and makes you not want to close your eyes again, it'll scare others from wanting to turn off their lights to sleep. Write a story out of your nightmares, or use your nightmares. Get into readers' heads by using fears and phobias. This is a sure way to scare anyone. I'm not going to read all of these off, but the most common fears are fear of spiders, fear of snakes, the dark, and hospitals. If you torture your characters with these fears, your readers will cringe beneath their blankets. Pick an eerie setting. A few great eerie settings are haunted houses, cemeteries cloaked in fog, cobwebbed basements or attics, dirty alleyways, but of course any place can be eerie depending on your descriptions. You can include several eerie settings throughout your story as your story moves forward and changes. Have you ever been somewhere that gave you the chills? You can write about it in one of your books. Write vivid descriptions. The more vivid you are, the easier it will be to scare your readers and make the hairs on their arms stand on end. Use all 5 senses: sight, taste, smell, touch, and sound. If your main character sees a ghost, you can have him or her smell rotting flesh, feel invisible hands, hear breathing and/or even taste dirt or formaldehyde on their tongue, because smells can settle on our tongues. Have you ever sprayed perfume or cologne and you could taste it in your mouth? You can use that. One of your characters can experience that, but with something gross like a rotting body, formaldehyde, or dirt. Describe, describe, describe. Describe your character's fear, your character's pain, such as injuries, your character's surroundings, and add internal dialogue. For example, your character could be looking in a corner. It could be dark. The corner could have shadows. That shadow could be moving, and your character could think, "What is that?" Descriptive words for horror. When you describe the setting or what your character sees, you can use these descriptive words, and of course there are far more descriptive words for horror that you can use. I found these by literally Googling words for horror or scary words. Pitch black, gloomy, shadowy, broken for windows, jagged again for windows or anything else, lifeless, decaying, putrid, rotten, hideous, and revolting. Body language. Body language or physical cues or reactions add to our descriptions the emotion and deepens the point of view. No matter what your character is feeling at any moment, we can add their physical cues to reinforce that. For example, if a character is angry, you can mention your character's clenched fists or jaw, heavy breathing, or feeling as though their face or neck is on fire. For sadness, your character can obviously be crying or weeping, but also their shoulders can lower and their eyelids can appear droopy. And for happiness, your character's smile can reach their eyes. Their dimples can become visible, and they can laugh or even dance. Some examples of body language include shivers, shaking or trembling, cold, sweaty hands, pounding heart, hyperventilating, dry mouth, stomach in knots, cringing or shifting away from whatever your character is afraid of. They can shift away. Crossed arms, which is a defensive posture. Fight or flight response. And a part of that is also freeze. A character might not fight or flee. They might freeze and become immobile. That is a reaction that many people have when they see something that terrifies them. They don't move. And with that is not blinking. You're staring at something that you're afraid of, and your eyes are wide. You don't want to look away. You don't want to blink out of fear. High-pitched voice, screaming, but also silence. You want to be silent because you don't want what you're afraid of to hear you. Write in a dark, foreboding tone. If you were in a dark room telling a scary story, how would you manipulate your voice to heighten the fear? What words would you use to bring an extra dash of horror? Write exactly like that in your story. Scary words to chill you to the core. Agonizing, blood-curdling, chilling, death-like, demonic, evil, ghoulish, grim, hazardous, heinous, menacing, monstrous, ominous, sinister, spine-chilling, threatening, unearthly, and wicked, which of course wicked could be a good thing if your characters are British. They could use wicked to mean awesome, but in this case, here we're using it to mean something scary. Use the sixth sense. Share your character's sixth sense. Does he or she have a feeling something is going to happen? Does he or she think someone is following or lurking in the shadows? Let your readers know all of this to build suspense and tension. Surprise your readers. This is something that I love to do. The element of surprise. When your characters are at ease, so are your readers. And that is the perfect time to spring something unexpected on all of them. Let something sneak out from under the bed and grab your main character's ankle, or let something whisper in his or her ear. Utilize the dark. Scary moments can happen in daylight, but anything your readers and characters are afraid of can be hiding in the dark, which is why fear of the dark is among the most common fears. Just knowing that anything can be in the dark can instill a sense of dread. Use those feelings in your story to heighten the tension, whether something comes out of the darkness or not. If your character is surrounded by darkness, either walking home at night or in a room when the power goes out, bring out his or her fear and let his or her sixth sense kick into high gear. What's lurking in the dark? Here are a few ways you can use darkness to its full potential. Give the darkness a life of its own. Our eyes can play tricks on us, so let the darkness move and appear alive. Heighten your character's other senses. I know I already talked about senses, but if your character is in full darkness and can't see, they will need to rely on their other senses. Doing this will let you give the dark a sound, smell, feel, and even a taste if you want to get ambitious. Let something happen to your character in the dark. This can be as simple as a touch, or it can be threatening, like hands around a throat, or it can be passionate, such as a lover putting his arms around the heroine's waist. Even if the touch is innocent, Build up to it with tension and suspense by letting your character's imagination get the best of him or her. I hope you enjoyed this PowerPoint presentation and have a lot of ideas on how to bring a little bit of horror into your story, a little bit of chill. If you have any questions, feel free to comment them in the comment section below. Now, before we go, I have an exercise for you. You can pause this screen so you can do the exercise. Write a paragraph featuring the element of horror using what you learned in this PowerPoint presentation and any of these words that I had used earlier in the presentation. And of course, don't forget to check out Write with Faye and Keep Writing with Faye. They are both available in print and ebook everywhere ebooks are sold. Thank you so much. Bye.